Is it out yet? Is the bait out? Is it? Let's check. Is it out? Come on, Steam. Steam, tell me. It's not out yet. It's not out yet. What are we gonna do?
Hello world and welcome to another episode where I talk about the saves you should be doing, and this one is going to be slightly different from the previous one because the previous one was, your standard run-of-the-mill football managers, the one you play for enjoyment. This one is only for the craziest people, the kind ones that just want as much challenge as possible. It's going to blow my mind. It will probably blow your mind. So before it blows your mind, please like and subscribe. Leave a comment to say, which team do you like, which team do you not like. If you have any of your ideas, please tell me. I'd like to know. I'd like to experiment a lot during this save and during this Football Manager 21. Now, I know, I'm probably filming this on the day where Football Manager 21 comes out. However, I'll be using the things from Football Manager 20 because I cannot record from the future. So hopefully, if you're watching this on Tuesday, football betas come out. If you're watching this on Wednesday, it should have been out already. Hopefully, right? But yeah. So anyways, I hope you enjoy, and like I say, show it to your parents, your family, your dog, your animals, anything. Anyways, let's jump into the first team, and the first team is going to be the easiest one out of them all. So, anyways, for the first team, let's start with, the easy hard challenge. I'm not sure what that means, but yeah, it's the easiest of the hardest challenges. And I know, I promised we're going to have, hard challenges, but come on, any league which has PSG in it is going to be a hard league to win. And yes, I know there's only one league that has PSG in it. Apart from the Champions League, there's two. How about that? Anyways, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. So, why Monaco? Well, as you know, remember a few years ago when Monaco won, the league with Mbappe, with Silva, with Fabinho. Great team. And then they decided to sell them all, and now they're struggling. So last year, they actually finished 9th in the league, a whole 9 points away from Real, and a whopping 28 points away from PSG. So that's from the first point. So that's already, that's it. You need to be able to take them on. It's crazy. And I believe Monaco is probably the only team that can actually fight against PSG. Not in a player sense, not in a manager sense even, but in the financial sense. So as you will know, they're bankrolled by a Russian oligarch. Actually, I don't know if you know it, but Dmitry Rybolovlev. Jesus Christ, it's even hard for me. How do you guys do it? So apparently he also owns Cercle Bruges. So, expect a lot of loans to be there as well. His net worth is 6.8 billion. That's quite a lot of money, actually. I mean, it's comparable. I want to say comparable. Abramovich has 12 billion net worth, and he has, 7 almost. So it's kind of, they're not too far off. This guy's a rich man. Monaco's a rich club. They can spend money. And that's why I say they're the only team in the league that can actually fight with them in a financial sense. So in the year they finished 9th in the league, they have spent over 200 million euros signing players. 200 million euros last year. That's insane. And a lot of that money went to sign Wissam Ben Yedder, right? That's a really good guy. You guys know him from FIFA. You hate him. Probably if you don't have him on your team. If you have him on your team, you love him. 40 million for him. And also Gelson Martins for 30 million. What is this spending? I'm not sure PSG had that much spending. This year they spent a bit more conservatively, COVID-19 and all. So they only spent 40 million. And to be fair, the majority of that was spent on Kevin Volland and a new center back whose name I kind of forgot. I'm sorry. He's actually playing quite a lot. So I'm going to write him somewhere here. And I'll hopefully include him. But yeah. Currently, they're sitting 6th in their league, and that's not bad because they have 17 points, so it's not too bad out of 10 games. That's, it's reasonable. They're only, 6 points behind PSG and 2 points behind Lille in 2nd place. That's not bad. Currently, the league is kind of close, so, hopefully that could be something. But why do I think this will be a challenge? Well, because the challenge is difficult and yet not too difficult because, as you know, PSG has been in kind of mediocre form. Their players have been getting injured. There's problems on and off a pitch. And this is the year, if you choose to seize it, could be the year where you can actually take PSG on. So yes, it's going to be hard. You're going to have to balance, first of all, obviously, you're going to have to balance COVID. You're going to have to balance, getting new players. You're going to have to balance, the depth of your players. But I think Monaco could do it. And why I say it's hard? PSG. That's literally the only reason. they had the players like, Wissam Ben Yedder, Gelson Martins, Golovin, Ruben Aguilar, and a large number of amazing youth players such as Benoit Bedeshil, William Goebbels, Sofiane Diop. That is quite a good team. And if you can have this young team, working together, working as a cohesive unit, you can actually have a really good team, and you can actually challenge for the top spots, and especially that you don't have Europe. So maybe I'm actually telling you this, and I don't know if this is actually a hard challenge. It seems leaning towards the easy one, but I didn't want to start you off with the hardest one straight away. But yeah, no European trophies this year. So you don't have to fight for that. It's only the league and the cup you focus on. So that's the advantage you have over other clubs. If I could have a few suggestions, however, you definitely need to start looking for backup, or if you want first team wingers, because there's not that many. There's Onyurku and Gelson Martins, who's like the main players. I believe you need backups. I believe you maybe could do an improvement. You will have some money to spend, most likely, unless they break FFP, which I found that in my save previously, which was Anyways, but yeah, so that's one thing you can look to. Another thing you probably will need to look at is with them selling Kamil Glik, the team does not have many experienced center backs, and the only experienced center back they have is Maripan, and Maripan is 26, and he's not the best defender. So they have a good pairing. They have Benoit Bedeshil and I think it's called Diassi. That's the guy who I missed out on. And they're both kind of, Diassi is 23 if I'm not mistaken, and Bedeshil is very young. So yes, it's good to play them, but you will need some experience at the back. And I think, you probably could look at players from Spanish League or Italian League, or if you want to do what I did, go to the Russian League, find Georgi Jikia. He would do wonders for you. He's experienced, he's quick, he's pretty good on the ball, he's pretty good, defensively. So it would be something you could look into. But yeah, that was the easiest of the hardest ones. So I guess it's time to jump on to harder ones, and these ones are actually going to be hard. Moving on to the Bolton of La Liga. Literally no one has ever called him that. I call him that, and yep, that's the way we're going to call him. So the Bolton of La Liga, they're a great team with a great history, but their history is full of peaks and troughs. They have gone through phases when they've been top halves, consistently gone relegated to the third division. It was crazy. For example, they had a golden decade from 1948 to 1957, which saw them finish 1 point behind Atletico Madrid. So they got second place. What a good time. And they had a very good team. They finished in the top consistently for those 10 years, top halves. So after that golden decade, the club became a yo-yo club, going between the top and the second divisions consistently, which culminated in the relegation to the Tercera in 1973. So that was a horrible thing for them to happen. However, that's not all, folks. In the 2000s, they actually won La Liga. It's incredible. And they set a record for the smallest city to ever have a winning team in it. 180,000 people. They had 180,000 people population. That's shocking. It's basically if Manchester, all the people that could fit into the Etihad and the Old Trafford, and plus spare people around the stadium, that would be the population of the whole city, and they managed to win La Liga. It's incredible. But they also, from that, they went on to good solid places. They were very good in the Champions League. That's all you need to know. For 5 years, they were always in the Champions League, which actually had a good season in 2003-2004, where they actually made it to the semifinals. So that's kind of a good history. However, as we all know, history is cyclic. Words are difficult, and they got relegated. As you know, 2 years ago, they got relegated down to the second division. And only last year they got relegated to the second division or the third division. I'm very confused because Segunda is not Segunda, because they're currently in the Segunda, which is the third league. But I guess it's like in the Premier League. You have Premier League, Sky Bet Championship, League One. What is League One? What is Tercera? What is Segunda? No one ever knows. But this is where you pick off your challenge. They have just been relegated. A lot of the players are pissed off, annoyed, and it's a typical return to glory save. Hopefully, the first season will not be too difficult. You have a lot of good players. You're probably the big team in the small pond. So you could potentially have an easy season the first one. However, a lot of your players will be annoyed at you probably, so you have to fight to keep them. COVID will be an issue, and the fact that you don't have that big of a population, meaning you don't have that many fans, will be a large factor, and that's why I think it's kind of lower on the list. It is a hard challenge, but it's a more typical challenge. But who knows how COVID will actually impact this team. but you will be helped, and I'm not sure if it's actually, going to be a full manager. Currently, on their books, they have a player called Diego Roland. You probably would have heard from him. And if you can manage to keep him at the club, I don't know. You can potentially get easy, promotion. But most likely what will happen is you'll have to sell him because he's going to hate you and you will want some money from him. So the questions I would like to ask you is, can you keep Diego Roland? Can you get promotion? Can you get back-to-back promotions? Those are the kind of things that you need to be ready for. This is going to be a tough save. You'll have lack of money. You'll have a lack of infrastructure. You'll have a lack of, good players. You will be forced to do some wheeling and dealing to make sure your financial situation is not horrible, as well as some firefighting, like I've said before, where people will be angry at you. So yeah, can you do it? This has been Deportivo La Coruna, and you will be jumping into the next team, which is even more harder. So let me ask you this. Why impose a youth challenge on an already existing team that's not ready for this? Yeah, that's not prepared for this. Why force something that already can be there? So I suggest you pick Le Havre, or in Football Manager, AC Havre. So they're the team. You probably will know, but if you don't know, hey, I'm here for you. I'll explain a little bit so you can make a decision then. So what is this team? Well, this team is famed for its importance, for the importance in places on youth players, on developing youth players through its ranks. And it's very well known. It has created a lot of players such as, Benjamin Mendy, Riyad Mahrez, Steve Mandanda, Paul Pogba, Dimitri Payet. So they're kind of, they're slightly famous. You might have heard of one or two. So this is the kind of team that puts first, youth players first, and that's that. So a little bit of their history, because I like to give a little bit of background to teams, just so you have more of a feel for them. Funnily enough, they're one of the oldest French football teams. In 1872, they were formed as an athletics and rugby club, because they're French and, rugby is everything. They were the first team outside of Paris to win the French League, so it's also a big thing, and they won it in 1899. So that's kind of cool. However, they don't really have much of a recent history in terms of being, Ligue 1. So they've only had one brief cameo appearance when they got promoted and got relegated. I think it was in 2008, so you will not know of them as much. As you probably know, it's hard to have a team that's, always developing youth players and then selling them on. That's just what they do. To me, it always seems this kind of teams, they're not for, winning stuff. They're like a community service. They give the youth and the local people a chance to play football and to enjoy football. So I think that's why, they don't focus on winning. They focus on just developing. And to be fair, they've been doing quite well. They've consistently finished, top half of Ligue 2. So that's kind of nice. They're not a bad team, and they give youth players a chance. What else do you like? If you really want to have a team that focuses on youth, this could be your thing. This is something you will have to use. You will have to use youth players. You will have to use their kind of good, facilities. So they have great youth facilities. That's already a big plus. They have good academy coaching, which means you can develop players. And they have average recruitment, which I'm not sure how that works, why it's average. But I guess if you're a youth player and you have a chance to go to Le Havre or PSG, you'll probably pick PSG unless you're very certain that you can have a chance at Le Havre, which is quite interesting. But that means if you want to succeed, obviously you will not have money. You will have to use these facilities. So I hope you can actually try this challenge. I don't know why it's third, why Deportiva is second. Like I said, I tried to do this in an order and then I lose track and then it becomes ambiguous. So yeah, give it a try. But if you don't like developing youth, the save isn't for you. Pretty much it. All right? So time to go on the next one. And finally, this is kind of what I'm really, really excited for. Haha! Of course, I'd have to fit in a Russian team in here somewhere, and it's number 4. I could have put it first, but to be fair, it should be one of the last, but that means there's another hard one there. There's a hard one there somewhere. The last one is very hard. But Chertanovo Moscow is an amazing team. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are actually starting to pay attention to it because it's not your traditional save. It's not your traditional team at Full Manager. It's so different because, some players or some leagues or some teams even have a limit on the number of foreigners they sign. Maybe, like for example, in Korea, you cannot sign foreign goalkeepers. That sort of stuff. And if you're Atletico Bilbao, you can't sign non-Basque players. However, Chertanovo says, you know what? Screw you. I'll be an even better FM save, and you can't send anyone. Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what they went for. They're another big example of a team only caring about youth development. And like I mentioned with Le Havre, they're the kind of team that's, for them, this is a community service. They spend their own money, the investors spend their own money to develop youth, and the way they survive is they sell youth. So I'll talk about, what happened last year and how many team players they had to sell because of COVID, but still, this is their, I guess, this is how they operate. So, like I said, you cannot sign anyone. I cannot stress this enough. Apart from, I think like with the case of Ilya Abayev, he actually, graduated from their academy, and I think they can sign him back on a free. That's the only thing you can do. I'm not sure if it's represented like that Football Manager, but that's just what I know. They signed him back. And oh my goodness, this is going to be so hard for you guys to do. So let's give a bit of background. So Chertanovo is a team in Moscow. It's a little region in Moscow where the organization that runs it only cares about developing youth. So they have a bunch of, different levels of football. They have, they teach kids at all ages. And a lot of players, when they come from their academy, they go into the bigger clubs, and that's just a normal thing. They are a very good step to, bring all the good youth from Moscow, and then they can go on further. And they're fine with that. I mean, they obviously understand what they're doing, and they understand the goals they set up for themselves. They ensure that only the best coaching and best facilities are available. So they spend their own money to improve that. And another big thing, which is very, very much a huge problem in Russia, they pay their youth coaches good wages. So youth coaches can only focus on, coaching the youth. In Russia, there's a big problem where youth coaches are, I'm not sure how to say it, like they're not very respected in the sense. They don't get paid much, they're not respected. And yeah, that's why you have a big problem with like good, strong youth players in Russia. On average, you can have the big teams that have good academies, but on average, there is no competition. If you're good enough to make it into the top teams, you have a chance. But if you're a late bloomer, you will have no chance in Russia. That's the problem. And they do it. They take care of their coaches. They make sure they have a living wage, which is mind-boggling, but it's a problem. I don't know why. So that's one of the things as well that's in their, bonus. And it almost paid dividends. Their system of taking care of youth almost paid dividends. They almost got promoted last year. They were third in the FNL. But if it wasn't for COVID and the Russian Premier League deciding not to hold playoffs, oh man, they couldn't make it. This would have been historic. They have a small stadium, a small, following, because you can't get used to players a lot of the times. They move on. But they almost did it. They were afraid of almost doing it as well, so maybe it was in their interest as well, because there were multiple interviews and they're like, we do not want to outreach, what we can do. Because there's a lot of teams that do this. They get promoted, they spend lots of money, they run out of money, they die. And they're like, no, we don't want to do something like this. But they weren't given the chance, thanks to COVID. And that means they're stuck. And because of COVID as well, they had to sell off a lot of players to Kryly Sovetov. It's crazy. Like, the list is just insane. So basically all their good youth players that went amazing last year left. So you have Alexander Solotenkov, who's an amazing center back, had a great season. They had Vladislav Serveli, who's a forward, who had an amazing season as well. They had Yuri Gorshkov, who's actually one of their better ranked players. I've heard of from multiple sources that he's the next big thing. So it just boggles that a lot of those players went to Kryly Sovetov, and they play a big role now. And Kryly Sovetov is a team that got relegated last year into the FNL, and they probably will be going back. So these guys will have Premier League football soon. They all played a big pivotal role, and because of that, Chertanovo is currently not doing as well as they did. Well, they're not currently doing as well this year as last year, so that's a little bit sad. However, not all is doom and gloom, because, with the way their system is built, one youth player goes, another comes in place, and they have one of the hottest prospects in Russian football in recent history. Holy crap, Sergei Penyaev, this guy is incredible. So at 15, 16, he was already destroying the Russian leagues, and destroying is just, and I'm really surprised not many people talk about him, because, this kid has got it all. And if you watched any interviews or any things about him, he actually had a few trials with Manchester United. The kid went on a trial to United, and there's rumors that he might actually sign with them when he turns 18. If that happens, wow, this kid will be amazing. I think he's an amazing talent. He's already played 9 games for them, granted all from the bench, but he scored 1 goal and 2 assists. And for a team that's not performing, and for a 16-year-old in FNL, and this is like lower leagues. This is, big men smashing, people because they don't know how to tackle properly. Nah, I'm joking, that's not as bad. But, he is the next big thing, and if you have a chance, use him. Just use him. In a year, he'll be good. So with a fantastic youth system and not being able to sign anyone, this is an unusual challenge. but I hope it's a challenge you will consider. I know I'll consider. But let's jump into the hardest save ever that I think is possible to do. Oh my goodness. Wow. If you decide to do this save, you're insane straight away. Or you are, I'm not sure, or if you don't like your computer. You will be very prone to punching it. And so this is San Marino. And it kind of says a lot about a team and how they're doing. If they have a wiki page of how many games they didn't lose. They have a page or a section highlighting the games they didn't lose. That's incredible. Not even win, just not lose. And they made a big thing in the news recently because they drew 0-0 with Liechtenstein on the 13th of October. Yeah, so this is the kind of challenge for you. You will be playing for a team that does not win. There's no league in FM for it. It doesn't win. So if you want to do this in a very hard way, what you could do it like FM Lama did and basically take a team, the national team, and just play. And just try and develop players, try to win games, use your tactical knowledge, and hope that occasionally you'll get an amazing player. That is something you could do. Or you could wait a little bit until someone releases, an FM database for San Marino football. Sometimes it could be fictional, it could be slightly made up, but still. And you could develop players from your team, from your at club level, and then also manage the national team. And this will be something similar to like what work the Space did with Gibraltar Apex, I think. Great team. I really enjoyed the save. So this will be a very difficult challenge. It's almost impossible. But if you want to do it, kudos to you, man, first of all, for doing it. But yeah, if you want to do it. But, please don't downvote me for this if it doesn't work out for you. So anyways, this concludes the end of this video of the 5 teams you should try and look into if you want the harder saves. They rank from easier to hardest in my opinion, but again, some people may find certain things easier, some things harder. That's up to you. As I've said at the start, I'm filming this before Football Manager 21 comes out, so I hope by the time you see this, or if you see this, it'll already be out. And if it's already out, go check out my demo saves here, there, somewhere. I'll be doing Hamburger, and you will see the thumbnail, I understand. And I'll be doing Ulsan and Korea for the proper save. Hamburger will be the demo save. So I hope you enjoyed that. Anyways, like I like to say, leave a comment, subscribe, tell me what you think of this. Yeah? Do you think it's good? Do you think it's bad? Do you think it's hard? If you have your own ideas, please tell me. I'd like to listen and share as well later. But as always, show this to your family, show this to your pets, show it to your dog, show it to everyone who wants to see, show it to your toaster and your microwave for all I care. I'm going crazy. Hopefully when you see it, Football Manager 21 will be out. I'm excited for it. This video may not come out if Football Manager comes out during when I'm editing. So yeah, leave a like if you see it because that means I've powered through it. But anyways, thank you for watching this video and I'll see you later. Bye guys.